Good evening, the Phoenix Warrior, Melina. I wanted to do a quick little video and talk about creating moon water. I do this on the new moon and the full moon. And this is just what I use, just a regular mason jar as the top. And what I do, as you can see, I have one already created, has water in it. I have written on there love. I have an Auralite crystal on the bottom of it, and I have wordings on the top. So I just want to show you, you just take a regular mason jar, black Sharpie pen. If you want to use a different color Sharpie, totally up to you. And what you would do is you write intention words, but words that have a high vibration. So if you think about the word love, loved, and loving, they feel differently. So say love has a bit of a high vibration, open kind of back and forth a little bit. And that loved, it has a little bit of a lower vibration, because when you say loved, it almost feels like it had a purpose or a job or something like that. So its vibration is not as high. When you say loving, it ebbs and flows. It has a way higher vibration, and it doesn't have kind of that stigma that a job, somebody can be loving, they can be a little loving, they can be a lot loving, they could be, not as loving. It doesn't really put a parameter or something like that on a person. So when you say, I want, more love in my life, I want to be more loving, I want other people to be more loving, you're setting an intention, and it ebbs and flows, and it allows that person to receive or give love where they're at. So you're not trying to control things, because a lot of us that have control issues that like to control things, and the universe can be able to work with that. They can work with their higher power, and they can work with our higher power. So when you're picking the words, I would write down a bunch of words, pick out the few that you really want, and what you can do, you just write on there, loving. And you might not be able to, maybe you can see that. Oh, it's backwards. So you can probably see it through the jar. I know we have a little bit of a reflection, but you get what I mean. You can put on there wealth, abundance, pick the different words that you want. And then what you're going to do, I like to, on the top of my jar, I like to write a few words on there too. And when you put like words like wealth, it's very open. It can be wealth in relationships, wealth in money. It can be wealth in your career. It can be all different areas. So then what you do, one of the things that I really like to do is I put a little piece of Auralite, just a little chip, and I drop it in the jar. And we also put in a little piece of shungite. Also too, like when I'm drinking my water bottle and that, I always have a piece of shungite and Auralite in all of my water bottles. And that sometimes you can get those crystal ones. There's a lot of different ones. We also sell them at the Spirit Within. You can get these crystal water bottles. What's really cool about some of the ones that we've gotten in, when you're purchasing them, sometimes you can get ones that this will turn and come out. So you can actually change the crystals in there. Because there's some companies out there that you buy a crystal water bottle and you only have that crystal in it. And then you need like 10 or 15 different water bottles, and they're pretty pricey. They're up to like $200-300. But there's some out there that you can get the bottoms, they change out, and you can change your crystals. So you just need one water bottle with crystals. That's just an extra tip for you. Now, all you need to do, you throw a couple crystals in the bottom. Make sure when you're picking your crystals to go into water, make sure they're actually supposed to go into water, because some crystals will break down. Some have certain things in them you're not allowed to drink. So make sure you're very careful which ones you pick. The shungite and the Aurolite is totally fine, safe to be in the water, and there's different reasons for it. And if you click below on the link that I've provided, we have a PDF file to explain the shungite and the Aurolite and that, and some of the purposes and things that you'd use it for. Now, the next thing is, what you would do is you'd pour water in here. You can get distilled water if you really want to. You can get spring water, anything like that if you really want to. Some people really like to drive out to the mountains to some of the fresh springs and things like that. If you want to do that, you can. Or you can just use regular tap water. And when you're pouring the water in there, you set your intentions. You put your hands around it, and you basically speak into it, all positive, clear. You might want to meditate before, clear your energy and that, because water, and there'll be another video that explains the difference of what you can do with your water, your food, and things like that. Another little tip for you. If you are thinking negative thoughts and you're stressed and you're upset and you're pouring a glass of water as you're doing it, or you're talking with somebody else and you're arguing with them or fighting with them, you're taking all of that energy and all of those words and putting it in your water, and then you're going to drink it, and then it's going to cause that effect. So if you're putting in, love and loving and abundance and joyful and passion and abundance, all of that kind of stuff that you want to create for your life, and you're putting it in your water, then you're drinking it. That's the whole purpose of it. So then afterwards, what you do, once you put your water in there, you set your intentions, just close her up. And what I do is, on a new moon or a full moon, I put it outside and I let it under the moonlight, and I let it sit there overnight, and first thing in the morning I pick them up and I get them, and then I just put them in my fridge. And it is a really neat experience when you've experienced it, that when you go and taste the water, it tastes different. It really does. You should try it. It's a really cool effect. The water tastes fresher. It tastes a little bit cleaner. And throughout the day, when you just say those affirmations, those intentions, and then it'll shift your life. And there's a little tip for you on how to create moon water.